Hi, it's great to see you again. I wanted to share something with you around your mind being a GPS. Why do we set goals and why do we actually go through this process of setting goals? Well, it's partly because when we get clear on what we want, we actually get there through a number of ways. We can take actions, it's our behaviors, it's our thought process, it's our beliefs. But there's another thing at play, and that is that your mind is like a thermostat. So in the same way as your air conditioning, we put it on for 24 degrees, for example. When it gets warmer outside or somebody opens the door, then the air conditioner works really, really hard to bring the temperature down. If it goes too low, then the air conditioner will actually slow down to bring it up. So our mind is very much like that as well. So I want to show you, it's a little bit like the GPS in an airplane. And when the plane leaves, for example, Perth and goes to Sydney, then the plane is set on the destination being Sydney. But what happens is the plane will deviate somewhat depending on the wind, depending on the conditions, depending on other things. And sometimes it'll be to the north, sometimes to the south. It'll be off course for quite a bit of the journey. And that's okay because they know the ultimate destination is Sydney. It's the same as the GPS, the same as the air conditioner is. It can go higher and it'll work really hard to bring it down. It can go low, it'll work really hard to bring it up. So our mind is almost exactly the same. So think of yourself as this plane, this expertly drawn plane, and think of your goal as whatever this destination is, whether it's Sydney, whether it's 24 degrees, whatever you relate closest to. When we set our mind on this destination, and when I say our mind, it also needs to include our programmed mind, so it needs to include our subconscious mind. We may go higher or lower than our goal, but we ultimately will get to our goal. Now, here's the thing. If that GPS has been programmed by somebody else, normally your parents, your caregivers under the age of 6, remember, most of your conditioning is framed, and you haven't reframed it, you will then just be heading in the same direction as your parents, your caregivers, whatever your dominant programming was under the age of 5 to 7 will be where your GPS is set. So if that is getting married and having children, getting a degree, getting a job, making a certain amount of money, getting a house, then you'll be probably on track with that. If it is poverty, if it is sadness, if it is lots of trauma and grief, you may be experiencing similar things. You might have happier, lower, happier, lower. We need to look really carefully at our current results because that will tell us exactly where our GPS was set. Now, I encourage you to do this with a dollar figure. Several people have said to me, money doesn't matter, money doesn't motivate me. Well, here's the thing. If you were doing your same job that you're doing and nobody paid you, would you still be happy and motivated to go and do your job? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you love your job so much that you do it anyway. But my guess is what they mean is money no longer motivates me to put food on the table. There's enough food on the table. There's enough coming through the household. I don't have to be driven purely by the dollar. You're right. You can be driven by other things. Fulfillment, meaning, using your skills. It's important to be driven by those things. However, also remember that money is equally important. So if you keep on saying money doesn't motivate and I've got everything that I need, whatever dollar figure you're earning now could be exactly the same dollar figure that you're going to be earning for the rest of your life. If you decide you want to double that dollar figure, then you will soon find ways to actually get there, provided you do the programming for your subconscious mind. So this is why we get back to goals and decide what you really, really want. Because if you keep saying that money is not important and you keep saying, I don't really need to earn money, my partner's earning money or we've got what we need, then if you've got more than you need, guess what? Something will happen to get you down below. When you don't have what you need, you'll work really hard to get there. So this is what is meant by I'm not motivated by money. It's because if you've got more than your programming allows you, the chances are you won't be driven to make any more. You'll actually probably spend or something will happen to sabotage that success and actually bring you back down on track. I share this because I've seen many examples of this happening with people in terms of money. And I've also seen how we've been able to reset your GPS. So if you change your GPS for a different destination, say it's I don't know, $100,000 more, or maybe doubling your income, or making your annual income into a monthly income, then it's amazing. Even though we may be off track, we will eventually get there. Now, we are not in charge of the time destination, right? So in the same way as a plane or a car, you may have the destination in mind, but if there's a lot of traffic, if there's an unusual event or weather event, it may actually delay you getting there. Now, we're not in charge of the time frame, but we can set the destination with the time frame in mind. For example, if this was Perth and this was Newman or Karratha, if we flag into the Pilbara, if we set that GPS in our vehicle, if this is a car and this is Karratha or Newman, if we set that GPS in our vehicle and we said we were going to drive it, that's 2,000 kilometers, so that will take us, I don't know, 16, 20 hours, right? We might then rethink it to go, do I really want to get there because I want my result in a certain time frame, and that's not going to get me there. So the vehicle of a car, is not appropriate if you have a meeting in 6 hours and you need to get there soon. That's when you would switch your vehicle. So this is why, again, it's important to bear in mind the whole GPS thing, is because that's you, that's your destination, that's your current programming. This could be your new programming. So let's say this is your X programming and this is your Y programming. You need to decide how big that is. If it's too big, sometimes it's too big a jump and we are automatically drawn back to our X programming. That's why you hear people say, I'm in exactly the same position as I was 10 years ago, or this keeps happening to me. I keep on making some more money and then something will go wrong, or I get happiness in my relationship and then something happens. So we need to be really mindful of that X and Y distance. We'll be talking more about these in the calls, but I'm really keen to get your feedback as to what landed for you in the session, what made a difference, what made you think about your goals slightly differently.